he cannot figure it out within those first 2 rounds or the first round he gets him down, I think DDP is going to beat him.
First round, brother. Yeah, brother.
I would like to see Khamzat win. I just think this is a hard fight. I think Dricus, but I want Khamzat to win.
I personally think he beats up Khamzat Chimaev. I don't think it's going to be easy to submit. I think DDP is scrambly. And I think his conditioning, bro.
The upcoming clash between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis has everyone talking. Fighters, analysts, and fans alike are eagerly speculating about what's in store for UFC 319, and it's safe to say that no one is entirely sure how this one will go.
Probably favor DDP in that one, just for the simple fact of I've doubted this dude so many times now, and he's shut me up bad.
In a 5-round atmosphere, I mean, in my head, I'm probably picking du Plessis, and that's crazy.
I'm never going to look past Dricus because he trains hard, he's super dedicated, he's super strong, and he's got that awkward style that doesn't make any sense. I think Khamzat will beat him inside the 2 rounds, I really do believe.
Ilia offers a unique insight into the matchup. Having trained alongside both Chimaev and du Plessis, Topuria sees this as one of the most intriguing matchups in recent memory. He acknowledges the sheer pressure and aggressive style that Chimaev brings to the table. There is no question that the Chechen fighter's intensity and pace can overwhelm opponents. However, Topuria also believes that du Plessis' defensive skills and unpredictable approach to fighting make him a formidable challenge. The key, according to Topuria, is whether du Plessis can withstand Chimaev's initial onslaught. If he can absorb the early pressure, the fight could very well turn in his favor, as Chimaev is forced to adapt to a different rhythm.
Someone else who calls the shots and gets them done. When you think of where mixed martial...
That's why he's the man. He's a savage. He calls his shots, he finishes his opponents. When he goes inside the octagon, you know that that guy goes for the finish. He's not looking for the decision. That's why I respect Khamzat. He's a beast.
Reinier de Ridder isn't so quick to buy into the Chimaev hype. While Chimaev's dominance in the cage has been undeniable, de Ridder believes that preparing for him isn't as difficult as many people think. The Dutch fighter suggests that Chimaev is more of a traditional fighter who heavily relies on wrestling and boxing, styles that are much easier to strategize against, especially when you have the right training partners. Of course, de Ridder doesn't discount Chimaev's relentless pressure on the ground, but he argues that Chimaev's style is a bit more predictable compared to du Plessis. In contrast, du Plessis' fighting approach is much more unconventional and tough to replicate in training.
I mean, of course, I've got to ask, and this is the obvious one, the champion, Dricus du Plessis, without giving too much away, of course, what have you seen in watching his film? And also, he's got like now this notorious reputation of being kind of an ugly fighter. I would love to get your take on that.
If there's one guy who's hard to study, it's him, man. He doesn't do 2 things twice. Doesn't do the same thing twice. He's so awkward, so unpredictable. Yeah, I need more time studying him. He does a lot of awkward stuff, and I sparred him a couple of years ago at Kill Cliff. And what really stands out in my mind is the way he kicks. His kicks come from such a weird angle, with the knees slightly in, and it was very hard for me to judge where it was going to go, if it's going to be a middle, high, or low kick. So, yeah, and it's going to be very hard to find a guy to emulate him as well, right? There's nobody else who moves like that.
Rampage Jackson has seen a lot in his time, but even he was impressed by what he witnessed in Chimaev's training camp. Jackson has trained with some of the best, including John Jones, but he was blown away by Chimaev's work ethic and intensity. The Chechen fighter, according to Jackson, trains like a beast, with a level of dedication and energy that's almost unparalleled. Chimaev's mental toughness also reminds Jackson of another UFC legend, Michael Bisping. Jackson emphasizes that while Chimaev's approach to fighting is unique, his commitment to training and his sheer willpower are comparable to Bisping's unshakable mentality.
One person who's training inside the gym is Khamzat Chimaev. Compared to all the bodies you've seen come through the gym, where does he stack up?
Man, he's one of the best. You know, we had Khalil Browntree coming there. He's a beast as well. You got what's his name? In Lukin. What's his name? Arman and Lukin.
Arman Sarukian.
God damn it, I mess up everybody's name. Arman Sarukian.
Sarukian.
Yeah, he's a beast too. Yeah, but Khamzat, man, he a beast, man. I saw him a couple of seconds over there, man. He was murking people. He's a beast, bro.
Who do you compare that to? You fought the who's who. You've been inside the octagon with John Jones. Who does Khamzat Chimaev remind you of, if anybody at all?
No, he don't. No, he's a different animal. But his work ethic reminds me of Michael Bisping, though.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael Bisping was always an animal in the gym. That's why I love training with that kid.
Adding some extra drama to the build-up, Daniel Cormier recently revealed that there had been some concerns about Chimaev's readiness for UFC 319. Cormier recounted a phone call he received a couple of months ago where there were serious questions about whether Chimaev would be able to fight at the event due to an unspecified issue. This bit of uncertainty surrounding Chimaev's preparation certainly raises some eyebrows. Although Chimaev is set to fight at UFC 319, it's clear that there was a point where questions about his ability to compete in this high-stakes matchup were being discussed.
Because Dean Thomas said last week, if Khamzat becomes a champ, it would be a nightmare. I said, do you not remember? Part of the nightmare as to why he wasn't fighting was because it seemed like he couldn't get into the country. I go, that's why Chael was at the Apex one time going, hey, Khamzat can't fight in Chicago. He's not here. He can't get into the country. And then your camera pans, you're talking to his manager, camera pans right to Khamzat in Vegas at the very beginning. So to that point, I was like, wait, if he's here, there should be no more issues, because in the beginning, he was very active. He was very active. He fought very frequently. But you said it's cardio-based. And you get, HL, sometimes if you just ask, surprisingly, you might get a yes. And it seems like you got the yes to go watch. You said that they're working very hard. This is another thing Khamzat said yesterday. And he said it very confidently. He said, if it goes quick, I'll be ready. If it goes 5 rounds, I'm ready for that too. It sounds to me like what you saw in that training session tells you this man has to go 25 minutes. He's ready for that bag.
Caio Borralho shared his thoughts on Duplessis' style. He pointed out that many opponents try to overpower Duplessis early in the fight, hoping to land powerful shots and take control, but this, according to Borralho, is a mistake. Duplessis thrives when opponents tire themselves out trying to land big punches. His adherence is impressive, and his ability to keep coming forward even when fatigued makes him a tough opponent for anyone. While Borralho believes that Duplessis has the tools to stay on top, he also acknowledges that Chimaev presents an entirely different challenge. A fighter with relentless pressure and physicality that could push Duplessis in ways he hasn't been pushed before.
The official backup to Khamzat versus DDP, what does that look like for you?
Is that I go there, make weight, and I fight Dricus. Because I've been calling him out for so long. I would prefer to fight him than Khamzat, because me and Khamzat, we were like friends. We used to train together and all that. I've been in his training camp. It would be really good to go there and fight with Dricus because he's the champion right now.
Gilbert Burns also weighed in on the matchup, bringing a tactical perspective to the conversation. Burns believes that if Chimaev doesn't secure a finish in the first round, or at the very least tire Duplessis out early, he could be in for a long night. Burns highlights Duplessis' resilience. He doesn't break when things get tough. In fact, Duplessis often gets stronger as the fight progresses, and this could be problematic for Chimaev, whose pressure-heavy style can be exhausting. Burns is confident that Duplessis can weather the storm if the fight extends beyond the initial rounds.
I train with Dricus a lot. Dricus is actually a very, very good fighter. Crazy cardio, very physically strong. He's a very hard fight to predict, you know. I think Chimaev is going to start very strong like he always do. I do believe Dricus can kind of slow him down, don't get submitted, relax a little bit. But I do believe Dricus, if he get past that first round, I think that's the hardest part. What I think he will do, I think he's gonna pass, and then he's gonna be a nightmare for Chimaev. I think Dricus is a monster, hits very hard, doesn't break, good gas tank. I do believe Dricus is gonna beat Chimaev and remain the champion.
Robert Whittaker, who has faced both Chimaev and Duplessis, provides another layer of analysis. Whittaker believes that Chimaev's best chance of winning lies in securing a quick finish in the first round. In previous fights, Chimaev has thrived by overwhelming his opponents early, and Whittaker thinks This could be his ticket to victory again. However, if Chimaev fails to finish du Plessis early, Whittaker sees the South African fighter gaining confidence and taking over the fight. Du Plessis is known for his ability to endure and keep pushing forward, and if the fight drags on, he could very well assert his dominance.
DDP and Khamzat, who do you think wins that fight?
Honestly, Chimaev is going to get him to the ground. If he doesn't finish him there, I don't think he wins. I think if you can't get Dricus out in the first, which Chimaev can do, his first round finishes is his thing. But if he doesn't get him out of there, I think Dricus, he's a guy that if you don't get rid of, kind of wins.
Belal Muhammad shares similar sentiments. He believes that Chimaev has all the tools to win, but only if he manages his pace effectively. Muhammad points out that Chimaev's striking is often underestimated, and if he stays patient and avoids burning out in the first round, he can outclass du Plessis both on the feet and on the ground. While many have questioned Chimaev's cardio, Muhammad is confident that he can avoid exhausting himself and secure a victory if he stays disciplined.
Who do I got, DDP or Chimaev? Honestly, I mean, I think too many people are counting out Chimaev's cardio. I think where Khabib said it best, if he stands up with him and strikes with him, I think he'll do well. DDP is an awkward style, but he does get hit a lot. And he breaks a lot of guys with fatigue. If Chimaev doesn't come out super hard in the first round, trying to take him down and letting out all his energy, I think he'll be fine if he keeps it standing. And then maybe the later rounds, you try to wear on him a little bit, but you don't want to go out for that kill in the first round. And DDP just plays defensively. He's strong, obviously. And then you end up burning yourself out for 4 rounds. So he needs to be smart, especially in this 5-round fight. But I got Chimaev. I think Chimaev's a lot crisper on the feet and definitely crisper on the ground.
Michael Venom Page offers an interesting take on Chimaev's unpredictable style. Page believes that Chimaev's ability to seamlessly switch between striking and grappling makes him a difficult puzzle to solve. This fluidity could be a huge problem for du Plessis, especially if Chimaev maintains his relentless pace early on. However, Page also notes that du Plessis has proven time and time again that he is not easily broken. If the fight turns into a war of attrition, Page thinks du Plessis could find a way to turn the tide and surprise everyone.
I don't see anybody beating him.
I like Khamzat too. I think he's been really incredible.
Yeah, definitely. He looked better in the last fight. Obviously, it didn't last long, so we didn't get to see it, but normally he's like Crash Bandicoot the first round, and then his energy dips.
DDP has been interesting, though.
I feel like Dricus is very underrated for
a
belt holder here.
But that's the thing. If anybody was to, it would be Dricus, because that is the muscular endurance. If you look at like some of the fights nowadays, Merab, Dricus, these guys that have the muscular endurance to be fighting at 7 the whole fight. But then you got someone like Merab that's 7-8 from start to finish, mate. That's difficult to deal with. And Dricus seems exactly the same. He's like 7-8 the whole time. So if you don't kill him and get him out of there in that first round, second round, then you're gonna have a problem for the rest of the fight.
Jamahal Hill highlights du Plessis' cardio as a possible deciding factor in the fight. Hill, while respecting Chimaev's skills, believes that du Plessis' endurance and power will eventually wear Chimaev down. Many analysts share the same concerns about Chimaev's ability to maintain his intensity over a 5-round fight. Hill sees du Plessis' ability to outlast his opponents as a potential key to victory, especially if Chimaev can't secure an early finish.
I probably favor DDP in that one, just for the simple fact of I've doubted this dude so many times now, and he's shut me up bad every time. It may look like he's like fatiguing or he's like slowing down, but he's really not. I think he's got the better cardio. His physical strength, I believe, can pose a problem for anybody in that division. We've seen Khamzat fade over the course of rounds before. I just believe Dricus has a really, really awkward way of throwing strikes that's not easy to time, get a read on. So I believe he will land. So I probably lean more towards DDP, but you can't count a guy like Khamzat out. I believe he's one of the best natural pure grapplers. He does have the ability to throw some hands too. So it's interesting.
Dominick Cruz suggests that du Plessis' striking might be the X factor. Cruz believes that du Plessis' ability to switch stances and create angles could make it difficult for Chimaev to settle into a rhythm, particularly when defending against takedowns. If du Plessis can keep the fight standing and make it a striking battle, Cruz thinks he might be able to exploit Chimaev's weaknesses and come out on top.
Man, I actually really like Dricus right now, the way he's looking. Like I said in the Schmo interview, he doesn't really stay on the center line. His striking and the stance switch really supports him in the rest of the takedown defense. because as long as you don't sit right in front of a guy consistently, it's hard to get a hold of the legs and shoot on you. So he's also very big and strong, so I think he can challenge the strength of Chimaev in the first 2 rounds, which a lot of people haven't been able to rival. Just the strength alone has been too much, and I think Dricus is sturdy enough and big enough he can challenge it, but I will say I think it might be the toughest fight of his career so far.
Israel Adesanya, who knows du Plessis' toughness firsthand, leans towards the South African fighter in this matchup. While he acknowledges that Chimaev might dominate the early rounds, Adesanya believes that du Plessis' endurance and mental fortitude could allow him to take control in the later stages of the fight. Adesanya's prediction adds even more intrigue to this already exciting matchup, as it's clear that while Chimaev is a massive favorite going into the fight, du Plessis has all the tools to pull off an upset.
Not bad, but I still think Dricus gets it. I think just late finish, late finish. Khamzat I think Khamzat will, if he wins, it's the first 2 rounds, or the first round. But Dricus is just chaotic.
Luke Rockhold adds his voice to the discussion. He agrees that Chimaev's aggressive pace could overwhelm du Plessis early on, but he also recognizes that du Plessis has the resilience to withstand the initial blitz. If the fight reaches the later rounds, Rockhold believes du Plessis' conditioning could give him an edge, especially if Chimaev begins to tire. The key to this fight, according to Rockhold, is whether du Plessis can survive the early storm and capitalize on any openings as the fight progresses.
It's not always about the most technical guy, it's the guy who wants it more. And
how do you think he fares against Khamzat?
I think Khamzat is a go for broke kind of guy. Khamzat, if he can't out wrestle you, he can't control you in that fierce state of direction of what he does, I think he'll break. Khamzat will get him if he'll get him, but if he can't get him, it's going to be a hard 3rd, 4th, and 5th round.
Right.
I think that's going to be all Dricus.
So if it goes into the championship rounds, you like the champ?
Yeah, 100%.
As UFC 319 looms closer, one thing is clear. This fight could go in so many different directions. Each fighter has strengths that could dictate the pace of the contest, and there's no definitive answer on who will come out on top. What is certain, however, is that this matchup has all the makings of a classic.